The episode Sokka's Master in Avatar: The Last Airbender, where Sokka learns to fight, has quite a useful set of methods for learning the way of the sword, which I'm going to explore in this video. Before I begin, if you enjoy this type of content, make sure to like and subscribe. The first step is general physical training, doing both cardio and strength training to be able to move as needed. I've already made videos on this topic, which I'll put up on the card, so I won't be going over it. The second step is to buy a sword, specifically a training sword. Now, if you want to save as much money as possible, you could use a broken broom handle or PVC pipe that's laying around your house. However, if you do want to buy one, something like this may be up your alley. It's mainly just for self-practice, not for striking, as it's cheap enough to be able to replace, but one review does say that it did shatter. Along with this one, you'll also want one that you can strike with somebody, which will be necessary at some point in time. So something like this, which is a foam sword, is also a good choice, and you could probably make it, if you really wanted to, by popping down to your local Lowe's or Home Depot and getting a PVC pipe and a pool noodle and some glue. The third step is learning a sword style. There are many types of sword styles, and there are some great videos that go over these styles in more detail, but I won't, as neither did the episode. Sokka in particular uses a Chinese double-edged straight sword, which I believe is pronounced Jian. You'd want to learn the basics of whichever style you choose, making sure to focus on technique and practice them both by yourself and through sparring consistently. One thing to consider when choosing and learning a sword style is if the techniques are actually effective. In the case of the Jian, which according to Black Belt Wiki is used in Wushu and Tai Chi. When looking at Wushu techniques on YouTube, a lot of them seem more like performances similar to a dance than it is for combat. Like for example this one, where this woman puts her hand in front of her body, absolutely exposed, and the sword to the back. I'm no sword expert, but she'd probably get her hand cut off if she did this in a real duel. Now that doesn't mean that it's all ineffective, like this video from Champ Archer, where the style is tested against another opponent in a full contact-like environment. His techniques are fluid, just like the performances, but it's also less exaggerated and more precise, at least from my point of view. Now to use some of the teachings of Master Piandao. These are some of the universal methods that he teaches, the first being calligraphy, with Piandao stating that a warrior practices a variety of arts to keep the mind sharp and fluid. In the specific case of calligraphy, he says to stamp one's identity to the paper as one stamps their identity onto the battlefield. I don't really know what this means, but according to ChatGPT, it means that their actions, courage, and skills leave a lasting impression and define their legacy. In relation to sword skills, I personally interpret this as almost creating your own martial arts in a sense, as you pick and choose different techniques to add to your toolkit, differentiating yourself from a more traditional practitioner that stays in the same sword style and refuses to venture outside of it, whether for the rules of the competition or for tradition. So basically, this means to extend past your chosen styles and learning techniques of other styles, making sure, of course, to test them through sparring to see their effectiveness. I do believe this will allow you to differentiate yourself by giving you more options and also giving you a better understanding of your opponents that use these techniques. The next method is landscape painting, which is also an art, but the use for this is to train to capture as much detail on a battlefield in a short instance to improve a warrior's memory. One of the benefits of painting is that it does boost memory recollection skills via conceptual visualization and implementation, according to Fox Hill Residency, a senior living facility. And there are of course other benefits to art, including stress relief. So it's great to do, but along with this, breathing techniques to calm your mind in a stressful scenario like a duel or battle can be useful, which I go over in the video Working Through Pain. And for the memorization portion, as described by Piandao, I have a video called How to be Sean Spencer, which may assist you as well. The third is rock gardening, which teaches the warrior to manipulate his surroundings to use them to his advantage. Sokka is seen using this when slicing the bamboo stalks, causing them to fall on Piandao, or pulling on them to let them hit his master. Piandao exclaims the phrase, "Yes, use your surroundings, make them fight for you." All of these methods relates to two core concepts, which are the use of creativity and versatility. Both are important, as in battle, one must find every advantage that can be found and be able to shift from offensive to defensive with ease and change tactics and strategies as needed. So stepping past just new sword techniques to adding other weapons like another sword or a shield, which you have to train for of course, and even past that to using unarmed martial arts to perform takedowns, chokes, strikes, etc. A good example of this is used in the M1 medieval fights, and as mentioned in rock gardening with the bamboo, or Sokka also jumping onto the ledge or onto the bridge for a higher position, or using his agility against an older, less agile opponent. One example of this is half swording, which I first saw in a Korean webtoon, where the MC flips the wooden sword and holds it by the blade. And I thought nothing of it until two different shorts from the YouTube channel Sal Sword Arts explained that it is a legitimate technique, whether it's to help pierce through the gaps in armor, for takedowns, or to be used as a club. And the other short explaining that unlike the super sharp blades used for cut tests, swords aren't actually as sharp because if so, they would be brittle. So as long as you don't drag your skin across the blade, you can actually hold it pretty tightly. Another could be learning to use a sword in each hand, as I mentioned in one of my examples, and holding a sword with both hands as needed, depending on the changes that occur in a fight. Another could be facing an opponent with your back to the sun, giving the opponent less visibility. Or it could be pushing them towards unstable terrain. Now with this, there may be too much creativity or too much versatility, like for example using reverse grip all the time, which I believe was more recently discussed thanks to the Witcher fight from the first season, where Geralt defeats multiple opponents with a reverse grip. However, according to multiple channels that talk about swords, it isn't super useful beyond very specific scenarios. Hence the need to test these techniques as well. Thank you all for watching. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to like and subscribe, and support the channel by hitting the join button for $2.99 a month.